grateful and so blessed to be launching my first show, Sparkle Self-Mastery with Nicole, through the Live with the Giants TV. Sorry, Wake Up with the Giants TV. I knew there was going to be something. Wake Up with the Giants TV, global TV platform, with the amazingly gorgeous, I mean, look at her, just stunning, Michelle Patrick. I know I'm melting her metal, and we'll discover more about that later. But I'm going to melt the metal just a little bit more, because this woman is incredible. When she speaks about the connection of your creation with the external creation, the microcosm with the macrocosm, the 5 elements, even like self-mastery hacks, like, hey, drink chlorophyll and things like that. It is true poetry coming from her lips. You have never, ever heard anything like this before. She is just incredible. She is a doctorate in naturopathy, a doctorate in Chinese medicine. She lectures all across. She's a professor. She's an acupuncturist. She's a neurologist. She's a nutritionist. She is the co-creator of Emotional Resonance Clearing with the beautiful Leah Steele, who is another one of my amazing mentors, and I hope to have her on the show someday. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. So, Michelle, would you please do me the honor of introducing yourself to the amazing community that's watching right now?
Well, thank you. I think you did all of the introduction that needed to happen. So thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Yes, I am extremely potently powerful about self-mastery and everything body, even outside of, my academic accolades. So it's always a pleasure to have the opportunity to talk about that.
Yes, definitely. And it's so funny because I was so excited. I'm like, I didn't even introduce myself. So I am Nicole. My name is Nicole Crowley. This is my show, Sparkle Self-Mastery with Nicole. And the reason that I really wanted Michelle to be my first guest is because she ignited my love of self-mastery. It was, just hearing a couple sentences, I was just like, what is this? I think it was like, she was talking about the kidneys, and I was like, I've never, ever heard that before. And I mean, it's incredible the way that you speak about self-mastery, the way that it's not about self-mastery being hard. It's not about it being difficult. It's not about you reaching for it. It's a remembrance of who you are inside. It's remembering who you are, which is so amazing. And the coolest thing, and I promise you, you will not know anybody else like this. She started studying this at age 14, right? 14?
Oh, it's
7?
It's as far as like formal studies are concerned, it's all I've ever studied. I've never really known anything else, but it's been just an innate part of who I am from a very young age. I remember being 7. I was a military baby. My dad was in the American Air Force, and we used to travel around a lot, and I was very blessed to live in a lot of beautiful places and beautiful villages, and just being very young and being very connected to nature and the symbiosis of creation with the human form. And it just became an obsession of mine from a very young age, from naturopathy and nutrition, moving into all kind of different disciplines and the expansive nature of, healing capacity that we have here in our existence.
Yes. Oh, yes. You are truly a wellness revolutionist. Like
I do my
the work
best.
You are bringing to the world. It's true. It's on your website. It's like, but it's true. And I mean, when did you start foraging? Like, she actually goes out in nature and will pick these things. And I'm telling you, anything that Michelle does in any of her programs, and we'll talk about that in a bit, any of her programs, anytime that she recommends anything, she has actually done this in her life. She has actually used these self-mastery hacks and tips in her life to see the results. She's used it with her clients, with her patients. And that's what's so amazing. She's not just speaking the words, she's walking the walk. Like, it's incredible. So what age did you start foraging? I'm so curious.
I started foraging when I was about 7, I think, or 6. I started pressing plants when I was about 6. I don't know if you had that. Like, do you remember these plant pressing contraptions?
Yeah, I did it. Yeah. I did flowers. I didn't do it for any like actual meaning. Like, I did it for beauty.
Beauty. So I started being obsessed with pressing flowers, and then I started wondering. I remember the red clover, and I started wondering about the shape of plants and their correlation to maybe a physiological benefit, and it opened up a conversation with my dad about, how plants used to be associated with the way they look, like certain plants, the way they look with a certain organ in the body. And then I started being quite obsessed with it. So the first thing I started foraging was red clover, and my mom used to make red clover lemonade with it.
Oh my
Of course,
gosh.
it's got amazing benefits. And then yeah, it just kind of went from there. It totally went from there, just foraging different plants, making dried teas with them. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is absolutely incredible. So tell us a little bit more about your journey. Like, how are you the amazing, incredible, magical, wonderful, gorgeous? Like, how are you who you are now? Like, tell us a little bit about your journey. What created you into this amazing wellness revolutionist that is
Um,
changing wellness?
well, like I said, it was really innate in me from a very young age. It was really innate in me. I remember going to American school and being given these very colorful packed lunches to include Capri Sun and fruit loops and stuff that said, a certain percentage of fruit. And me being like, oh, this is really interesting. Fruit that tastes like candy. And turning over the ingredients and realizing that, there's 0.002% fruit in it.
Right.
So really started having an interest in nutrition then. That just carried on. I started having an interest in kind of Taoist theory, things like Taoist sexology and stuff, actually, in my kind of late teens. I was very athletic, so that always went together. My mother worked in oncology, and she always used to encourage alternative medicine, even though she's a practitioner of Western medicine. So if I had an injury or something, because I was very athletic, then she'd always take me for acupuncture or, to have some other kind of therapy. So it was just kind of an innate kind of part of my experience.
Right.
When I started studying, however, even though I had all of this lust and want and passion to learn about all of these things, and, my first formal studies were in clinical nutrition. And then it went to naturopathic nutrition, Chinese medicine, and, exploded from there. But when I was exploring these things in formal kind of education, I actually became very sick because I was utilizing all of these things in a way that had nothing to do with my individual unique body. I was very unhappy. I was an extremely stressed student. I was in stressful relationships. I was a mother, from a very young age. It never stopped me from doing anything. Don't believe the hype, people. You can mother and still live an amazing life.
Yes.
But I wasn't really connecting with my kind of unique individual blueprint of while I was here, of my individual expression of consciousness. And I became extremely ill. I became extremely ill. I started developing chronic kidney issues. I remember my appendix burst at one point, gave me peritonitis, and had to have all of this surgery and to drain my, viscera, and all kinds of disgusting things happened.
Yeah.
And it was purely because even though I was in extensive study, of wellness and medicine, I was really disconnected from my own individual bodily needs. And it was actually, even though I was studying kind of Taoist theory from a very young age, I was just kind of cramming knowledge. I was just cramming knowledge along with my formal studies. When I started becoming very ill, I had no choice but to really explore my unique environment, my unique ecology, and that's when I really started studying kind of the psycho-spiritual attributes of the body, the internal alchemy of the body, and then bringing it into my personal practices where, alongside all of the formal studies of naturopathy and Chinese medicine and stuff. But it was really kind of my deep love of 5-element theory and philosophy that changed my world. I changed my practice greatly. And from that point, it became less about kind of integrative study and more about activating, the capacity and the possibility that exists within the genius of all of our form. So, yeah, it wasn't without a struggle, baby. I tell you that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the thing is, like, 5-element theory, it's based on a 4,000-year-old Taoist theory. I mean, you could study it every single day for 24 hours and you still would know, like, this much. Like, it's such a deep, deep amount of work. But
Yeah.
it's like, yes, you are this amazing world of knowledge. I want to create a whole new word for you, because knowledge is not knowledge and wisdom does not, it does not encapsulate everything that you are. It does not encapture it. It's like the passion. It's you embody every single thing that you believe. You embody everything you speak about. It's just this whole new word. I was literally thinking, I'm like, okay, knowledge and passion. I'm like, Noshin? No, that sounds like nauseous. And I was like, pallage. I was like, how do we put knowledge and passion and love? And like, it's just you. It's your essence. It is just the most beautiful thing. And I think the thing that just was like shocking to me was like, here you are, a professor, right? You have your PhD and all this stuff. And you were saying to us that like, you know nothing.
I don't think any of us really do. What I mean by that, I think that the second that you decide that you know enough is the second that you really stop believing in the expansive capacity of the human form and everything that's included in the architecture of that, you know? And it's so vast. We could never know like the ins and outs and the intricate kind of construction of creation. You know, and it's just such a exciting journey to walk with that and be in it, you know, in the kind of preciousness of the moment, but be open to possibility. And, you know, I learn different things every day, especially because I teach so much, you know, so I could be teaching the same theory that I've been teaching for, I don't know, 8 years or whatever. And every day that I'm teaching a different kind of part of it, something else, like a different paradigm opens up. Everything's sacred geometry, isn't it? It's like
I love sacred geometry.
Yeah, there's always a different curve or an edge, or there's always something new, you know. And I really believe the second that you believe that you know it all is the second that you deny wisdom.
True. Yeah. It's so true. Like if you are going for this one plateau and you achieve it and you're like, oh, I'm good now. It's like, no, there's so much more waiting for you. It's a lifelong journey. That's also something that you ignited within me. My love for self-mastery. Like at first I was like, oh, great. I'm going to become a practitioner and I'm going to do this. And then that's awesome. And then I'll have all my clients and all this stuff. And then I'm like, no, this is just the beginning. This is like, we're diving like little toes in the water.
It's just the beginning, especially, you know, when you're entering into any kind of practice of wellness, that word. Now, I know. About the word.
One thing you need to know about Michelle, she wants to rewrite the entire English dictionary.
I do. Can we do that?
We need to do that.
That would be awesome. But the journey of a practitioner is often of anything, a practitioner of anything. It is my humble know nothing belief that the best way to be of service to others is to be of service to yourself, and to really be in the integrity of your own self-mastery and the integrity of your own journey in order to awaken that kind of cellular remembrance in others, because we are all healers. Everybody on the planet is a healer. There is nobody better than anybody else. We're just all different shapes and pieces of a puzzle that all fit into, you know, a bigger picture, the drop in the ocean, but the whole ocean. So really being in the integrity of your own curves and edges of your puzzle piece, you know, is really what inspires people's remembrance of their own magnitude of possibility. So it's just so important to really be in the integrity of that before you even reach into anybody else's journey, you know?
Right. So Hugh has a beautiful question. How have you been learning or discovering? And that's it's a whole different perspective. Like when you discover, it's the world has this for you and you're discovering, or are you learning? So can you please answer that?
Have I been learning or discovering? I think both of those things go together, don't they? Learning is a discovery to me. But anybody that knows me personally knows that I am a pretty wild adventurer of life. And I want to know all the things and I want to discover all the things. So I believe that those two things go symbiotically together, you know, depending on your personal relationship with them. And I personally feel like my own journey that learning is a discovery. You know, I like from being so self-obsessed and with my own environment and obsessed with nature from a young age, although I was learning about my innate kind of connection with those things, I was also in the discovery of the magnitude of the human creation and our relationship with our internal seasons and ecologies in connection with the external. So I think those things to me go hand in hand.
Yes. And can you speak on that? I mean, I know you could speak on it for 15 hours, but I mean, the connection of our internal ecology with our external environment. Can you speak on that? The spirits within us and the connection to nature and stuff. I know that they love
so
that.
should we, I think we're going to have to discuss some light 5-element theory for that.
Oh, of course. My darling, of course.
So let's just do some light 5-element theory, shall we, Nicole? So, we have internal seasons that really match the external seasons. We're discussing the human creation or the human form from a 5-element theory, philosophy, perspective. And there's so many perspectives. They all lead to the same beautiful kind of crescendo or supernova of what we are or what we get to be. But from this particular theory, there are 5 elements within the body and in the universe. Those are the building blocks of the whole of creation, of which you also are. There are different organ systems associated with different elements in the body. Say the fire element would be the heart, the pericardium, the triple burner, and the small intestine. The earth element would be the spleen and the stomach, the metal, the lungs and the large intestine. The water element, kidneys and bladder, and the wood element would be the liver and the gallbladder. And all of these have different seasons. Say the fire element is related to summer. The earth element is related to the season of harvest. Late summer. The metal element, August or fall. The water element, winter. And the wood element, spring. And it really speaks into the way chi unfolds in the body and through the organ functions in its kind of relationship with the external season. It's really quite magnificent and poetically designed. It's like a
and for those that don't know, chi is life force energy. If they've never heard chi before, they're like, wait, did she just say cheese?
They're like,
chi is life force energy.
No, chi. Like the energy of the liver, springs upwards and outwards, like the energy of stinging nettles or dandelions coming through in the spring. And when the energy is stagnated or blocked in the body in some way, then you start getting liver chi stagnation, you start getting physical pathologies in the body. So it's a real it's a beautiful philosophy of how to understand physical pathologies in the body, emotional pathologies in the body when we're not in the integrity of those seasons,
Right. And it's just like having that knowing being like, oh, like I'm waking up in the morning and I'm really groggy. I'm not awake and aware. It's like, this is actually a signal that this is happening in my life, that this is happening with a specific spirit, like a fullness or deficiency in your body. It's just that awareness.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Yeah. And that helps
even
you step
like
into
the circadian rhythms, like our rhythms with, the 24-hour clock. We have our internal clock. So like you just rightfully said about some people might suffer with insomnia. Some people might have trouble falling asleep. Some people might have trouble waking up in the night. But understanding kind of the internal clock, you can decide which organ or which system is causing this imbalance and the symptom of insomnia, and then handle it accordingly. So at the liver hour would be between 1 and 3, as you should know, Nicole.
No, so I will say this morning, like as soon as you start working with Michelle in any capacity, your life will change. Like I now cannot take a shower normally. I have to dry brush before. I have to take a cold shower, and then I have to do meridian
massage. Like, you doing meridian massage? That's amazing.
Yes. Yes. This morning I had my chlorophyll. I had my ginseng. I put my chaga and my cordyceps and my oatmeal with like
that's lovely.
Yeah. Oh, of course. So I'm sure people are like, wait, what does that do? How does that help? Can you explain a little bit about the whole dry brushing, cold shower, acupressure, meridian massaging?
I mean, dry brushing is a way for waking up the body, waking up the lymphatic system. A lot of people use it for the symptoms of, say, cellulite or something, but I attribute cellulite with damp in the system, and attack it a different way. But dry brushing really activates the body in the morning, activates the meridians, and then of course meridian massage teaches you the different directions the energy flows in the different meridians of the body, and just allows you, it takes 2 minutes, just allows you to kind of open up the channels, and allow for free flowing energy in the body as a great start to the day.
Yeah. Well, it does take 2 minutes. However, getting used to a cold shower it does not take 2 minutes. I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. This is boosting my immune system. I can do this.
That's the best way to do it.
Especially in the wintertime. Like, you're asking a lot.
Oh yeah, I know it's a lot. Trust me.
You're in sunny Florida right now. Like, you're not in the snow like I am.
Oh, yeah, but I've not been here that long, so I'm getting it while I can.
That's true. Yeah. And I do have to let the audience know, or the beautiful souls watching, that we did not plan this. We are like matching in our leopard print. I never wear leopard print. Or is it jaguar?
No, I can't even see you. So what's happening?
See? Oh yeah, you can't. Oh yeah,
are you wearing something similar?
I am. She's having a little bit of technical difficulties, so she hasn't been able to see that we have like matching outfits on.
Oh my God! Stop it right now. It's the 222 portal magic. That's what's happening.
That's the thing, is like, that's why I wanted this show to launch today, because this is not Sparkle Self Mastery. Yes, it's a beautiful show that's going to connect so many people, but this is really a movement for me. This is a movement because this is self mastery, and it's mastery of self. It's whatever you deem it to be. It's mastery of self through reading books. It's mastery of self through diving into 5 element theory and falling in love and diving into that and creating a lifelong journey. But it's whatever you want for you. And so it's like self mastery, and then I'm the sparkle part. But there's like the self mastery is like, rawr, here I am. Like, we're going to be the best we can be, and we're going to link to nature. And, like when I'm outside and I see the snow, it's just like, I cannot look at the snow and think of snow as just snow anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like,
and it is that, and it's it's really interesting how we live in a manner that kind of champions or supports your separation from self, to a more herd mentality kind of way of seeing yourself. And it causes, I believe it causes a lot of emotional and mental stagnation of people, because people feel like they can't be fully expressed in their own unique ideals of themselves, and we'll have different blueprints and fingerprints, as I say that all the time. And to be able to really be brave enough to explore what that means for you in a fully expressed way, without feeling like you have to close it down, without feeling like you have to play small or fit into a box that you don't fit into, really speaks into self-mastery. And also the discipline, self-mastery is a lot to do with discipline. And even though that's a dirty word, there's so many, what to me it is anyway, because it can be associated with things that were connected to your formative years. You were disciplined when you were a child. You're disciplined in school if you're not doing what you're told, So when I think of discipline, it's more in being devoted to the real love that you are, and that from where you came from, and the beauty in your human form, and what are the best means and methods for you to experience life in your highest, most potent form of vitality and wellness by any means necessary. And that takes devotion, it takes cultivation, it takes discipline, and that's the foundations of self-mastery, being really committed to the cultivation of your unique experience here, and making changes that are going to, help support the fertility of that.
Oh, definitely. And that's the thing, is it's not this blanket solution that is the answer out there. Like, drink your green smoothies and do this and do that. Like, it's not. It's really recognizing what you specifically need. Like, actually discovering your constitutional factor. Everybody within 5 element theory, we are born with a specific constitutional factor.
Yeah.
And that's your main element. When you're so I am an earth element, or I'm an earth, sorry, not the earth element. I'm an earth constitutional factor. And I mean, for me, discovering that, like, the fact that I was always over nourishing other people, but not nourishing myself. And this wasn't like, it was a self-sabotage thing, but it was actually because I was too afraid to dive in and work on myself and nourish myself, because I didn't feel deserving of love.
Right.
That is the magic of this work. Like, those realizations. It's just absolutely, It's
Yeah.
incredible. Oh, Amy just said she does her dry brushing every single day. Go, Amy.
Yes, dry brushing is a must for the start of a great morning. It really is.
It is. And also, you taught me when you are asleep and you just wake up and you just can't get out of bed, you wiggle your feet for 5 minutes.
Yeah, your toes. It activates the nervous system. It activates the energy in the body.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't even like.
That's another thing, it's we're all walking around in this amazing kind of creation, and we just don't know what to do with it. We do the things that societal wellness tells you to do with it. Drag it to the gym, do your yoga, drink your green juice in the morning, but you don't really ever take time to explore, your uniquity in your own body, or even what's in it. A lot of people are obsessed with wellness and can't tell you where the spleen is. So is actually no.
I know. Trust. Oh, I can't tell you how many times on a live she's like, do your face, like your world famous face, where you're just like, guys, you need to know where your spleen is, and you're like, I can't do it. But it's just, it needs to be trademarked. It is just amazing. It's just like, get on the ball. Like it's literally like slapping us in the face. Like, come on, guys, you're in this amazing
you're in it.
Creation vehicle, right? Like we create our lives in every single moment.
Right. And often we look at the body like something to be discarded, right? It's like, because we focus on the spiritual attributes of our life, but that we're spiritual perfection already. We were given this body to experience life in this incarnation for a reason, So it's a real big part of the evolution of what we really are, to really be in body, and learning to create our realities based on being embodied. There's some amazing psycho-spiritual benefits to the organs, I think, that but if you just say a car, right? You have a car, you pop the hood of the car and you can see there's an engine in the car that keeps the car running, but all different components of that engine do different things, for the holistic health of the engine, and our internal systems are just the same, and a lot in energy work, or the spiritual, quote spiritual communities, we talk about energy and vibration, yet for some reason we don't see how that, or don't create kind of a foundation of how everything emits energy and vibration. Your individual textures and tones of your different internal systems emit different frequencies and stuff like that. So you could be experiencing like chronic emotional or mental kind of behavioral patterns, or patterns that could be to do with a particular organ that needs nourishment. And that just takes some, that takes a little bit of self-observation.
Definitely. And also, I mean, you mentioned frequencies, and it's so funny. I was actually going to start the show with this and I forgot, but it's like, I'm wearing my Heli because the Heli is the reason that you're in my life. If it wasn't for the Heli, I wouldn't have been introduced to your magic at this point. I do believe the universe would have brought us together at some point, because I was always meant to be an emotional resonance clearing practitioner. This work is just incredible.
It truly is incredible. It is.
Oh, yeah. But the Heli is the reason. Like this quantum frequency energy healing device that allows you to tap into your individual needs. It's the same thing. Like with 5-element theory, it's about learning what your specific needs are. What are the emotions? Everything that we experience in our life is a reflection of what's within us. But it gets deeper than that. Everything we experience is actually like a magnifying glass. Hey, this is showing you that there's something going on with your lung. And it's not your lung as in like the physical lung. It's the energy of the lung, right? And it's the spirit that's connected. Like the yi to the earth, to the, I don't want to go into all that because they're going to be like, wait, what?
They'll be like, well, what are you talking about?
I know, huh?
Yeah, what? Kung Fu Panda?
But in speaking about that, there are so many amazing programs that Michelle has available in the world. And okay, so I have been a part of Becoming Immortal. I have been a part of, okay, let me see if I can list all of them. This is like a trick. Self-Mastery Hacks 1 and 2, Inner Alchemy, obviously becoming an ERC practitioner, Emotional Resonance
Resurrection, you did. Oh my God, you've done all the things. You've done all of the things.
Yeah, oh yeah, all of the things. But the work that she is bringing into the world, like she told me, she's like, this is my baby. This is my world's work. Like this, can you speak about this amazing program that's going to be coming out soon?
Are we talking about Elysium?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, I really feel like it's my life's work as far as delivering in this way up until this point. You know, you can never say something's your life's work until you kind of transition onto your next evolutionary journey of life. But I really feel like it speaks to all of the things that I've gathered as far as, you know, analytical knowledge is concerned, as well as experiential pertaining to internal alchemy of the body and how to create different realities and heal long-standing chronic trauma, and just make your life, you know, a better, more vital place using these internal systems of the body. It's all very poetic and philosophical, and I'm very excited about it. It's a 5.5 month. I know that seems, when I say that, people are like, oh my God, it's so tiring, but it's not, because we're working through different systems in the week and how consciousness unveils itself through different systems in the body, because consciousness needs matter, right, to create in life. And we have different tones and textures. Some organs are sacs, some organs are hollow, you know, and how consciousness unveils itself through different systems in the body and working with the internal alchemy of that to really change the reality that you currently live in, and not just raise the vibration, but in your own life, but in the world around you.
I can't even imagine what it's going to bring into my life, because I mean, when you told me this is like my life's work, I mean, I've already experienced, because with becoming immortal, I've actually had friends that went through that program, and it's really truly connecting to the spiritual, like the spirit of the elements. It's really understanding how water flows, but it can shape the earth. Water can turn into a hurricane, but it could be silent in the ocean. You know, it could be still in the ocean. Water shapes, but it's the only element that can shape things, but doesn't alter itself. Like it, I mean, or I'm saying that wrong. What is
no, that's true as well. It doesn't, water is, you know, can be anything. And the element of water inside of us, which is to do with the kidneys, really speaks to primordial wisdom and the return to the origins of ourself, you know, and how we get to exist in that, in bravery and heroism. As water does, it never changes its form. It's true to its origins, you know, and being true to our origins and working with the energy of the kidney and making sure that the organs that kind of promote the frequency and vibration of heroism and bravery in our lives are working in integrity, so we get to experience the magic and the alchemy of that.
Yes. And that's the thing, is each of these spirits, they have a superpower that you can step into. Like fire is truly knowing yourself, knowing your authentic self. But it's not just like, I am this person and this is who I am for the rest of my life. It's like, I am this person in this moment. And if tomorrow I'm a new person, that's perfectly fine. Like, I love that, because that is me. And there's so much in this world that doesn't allow you to be like that. There's so much conditioning and programming that is like, nope, you chose this, you're on this path, you have to stay here. And it's like, when you go off the path, people are like, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? This isn't okay. I'm not used to this. This is change. This is not comfortable, right? But like, to step into that level of becoming your highest self, you've got to face those. You've got to step into that. You've got to dig into the soil and get the weeds out so that the flowers can bloom and grow, and you can be the highest you that you can be. Like, it's so incredible.
Yeah, internal alchemy is it's pretty magical.
Oh, yes. And so I mean, I had some friends that went through becoming immortal, and they literally like reverse aged 10 years.
Yeah, it happens a lot in the programs.
Yes, like losing weight, like stepping, oh my gosh. And the confidence, the new creations that they create in the world to raise the consciousness of the planet, to make huge differences in people's lives. Like, you guys, these are not just programs. These are, I don't know what the right words are, but they are life-changing, life-transforming, bringing you to the remembrance of the magic.
Transmutative and transformative.
There we go. Transmutative. There we go. Transmutative. Because wellness revolutionist Michelle Patrick.
It hands it back to the person, doesn't it? It really hands it the opportunity, and the opportunity to believe in your own kind of magnificence back within the structure of disciplined kind of self-mastery and self-devotion, which is why a lot of things don't stick, because a lot of things in the wellness community or the wellness industry is really not about you. It's about trying to become something you think you should become. But when you really kind of cultivate your own cellular remembrance of yourself, instead of striving to become something that you already are, things change. It's like, instead of promoting lack, I promote opulence in wellness, because in the knowing that you are already that, you are merely unveiling. There is no agonizing journey to take. It's more about just kind of unveiling what already is.
Yes. Yeah, I know. It's incredible. And this is the thing, like, she has this beautiful 5.5-month program, but she has a monthly membership. She has a masterclass coming up. Can you speak about this masterclass and this monthly membership? Like,
absolutely,
you get access to the wisdom pearls for as much as like 2 Starbucks.
Right. And I believe that, because I do believe as well that everything is a journey and an exploration, and sometimes, and not all water is deep. Not all water is deep. And sometimes you could be a great swimmer and you want to just dive straight into the deep sea. Sometimes you want to paddle on the shore a bit, until you get more confident to walk in and really explore your own wellness. So, and I really believe in the remembrance of this magnificence in people. And I like to make an ocean of capacity. There's a deep end, there's a shallow end, and everything kind of in the journey of self-mastery. So with my membership portal, it is a membership portal. It is $8.88, because I love that number. And I do 2 content drops a week, and then live Q&A at the end of the month with the people in that program. And it's called It's Alchemy, baby. And it's very easy to use. We do all the content dropping through Telegram and through the membership portal that you have access to in your email. And then obviously the Q&As are done live.
Oh my gosh, that's absolutely incredible. What about the masterclass? Can you expand a little bit on the masterclass?
Yeah, the masterclass, I'm super, super excited about. I'm so excited. I don't even know if it's a masterclass. It's more like a 3-hour experience, shall we say, called The Master and the Mastery, because you are both. You are both the master and the mastery, and that really speaks into usually our comfortable space of handing away responsibility of ourselves to others, because really not believing in the capacity of our own genius. So in this event, the mastery and the master, it's like a mini Elysium, actually. It's like an introduction to Elysium. So we're going to be exploring the alchemy of the body, and how to use the alchemy of the body to create radical change in your internal and external realities, because you are the alchemist and you're the magician.
Yes, definitely.
You are all of the things.
Yes.
It's like when I'm going to be doing a live on the spleen. I had meant to do it a couple of weeks ago, but I was traveling and whatnot, and just a lot of people, even with their struggle with the idea of manifesting, say, or having clear ideation and thought in their life, and you can do all of the journaling that you want. You still feel like you're not cultivating a path that you really want in your life. And sometimes it's because you need to give your spleen some physiological love, like your psychological attributes and your psychological digestion are only a result of the integrity of your internal ecology. Like if your car has no water in it, it's probably going to overheat. If you have poor oil in your car, it's probably going to stall. It's the same thing, and sometimes we get caught in the seeking of psychological or emotional states that are going to be impossible to really activate because there's no oil in the car.
Right. And the spleen, the spleen likes silence. We should sit in silence for the good of the spleen. Yeah. Like I can just kind of give that little tidbit.
Yes, there's so many tips of the spleen.
There's
we usually not treating it very well.
No, definitely not. I know. And that's the thing is right now we need to be our best selves more than ever. And the thing is, the more that we work on ourselves, It's when you raise your frequency and you raise your consciousness, that is actually the most important thing that you can do for yourself and the planet and everybody that you know, because
Totally.
it vibrates to everybody else. It actually shifts their consciousness. So as we step into higher consciousness, as we start clearing the patterning, the ancestral conditioning and programming, the patterning from our childhood that we're not even like aware that this is creating this in our life. We have these repetitive patterns in our life that we continue to fall into. And it's like, until you clear it and truly clear it and then integrate it and then have the awareness and the knowledge of how to support it, those patterns are going to come back up. And that's what we do working with emotional resonance clearing. It is just, it's amazing.
Pretty awesome.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. Oh my gosh. I want to ask you if you could tell our beautiful audience, like the top 2 self-mastery hacks, what would you tell them?
Oh, I mean, that would be impossible for me to
200?
say.
200 instead of 2?
Yeah, that would be impossible because it really depends on what that unique person is experiencing, you know, in their life, and what their own kind of inner standing or destination for themselves, wellness wise, vitality wise, could be, you know. So I think that the first tip of self-mastery is to really, you know, find yourself in the throne of your own magnificence by any means necessary, and really devote yourself to being committed to sitting in it, you know, and owning that part of yourself by any means necessary. By any means necessary, people. So really, and being honest, you know, being honest about your current state and your human journey. You know, what is really going on emotionally? What are you repressing? What physiological symptoms and signs and illnesses and dis-ease or mental kind of chronic patterns are you experiencing? And how dedicated are you to really journeying with the soils of that, rather than trying to find a quick fix for it? Because that's self-mastery. You know, it's really being committed to the cultivation of the soils of yourself, rather than just, you know, pruning the bush. I
love how you relate 5 element theory to like the garden and, you know, just everything in nature. It's so beautiful. What would be like your top tip for boosting immunity?
Okay, so this is another interesting concept. Nicole's like, I wish I didn't ask you any of these questions. But immunity is interesting as well, because we think of the immune system, but the immune system has different parts of the immune system. And sometimes, you know, when people, my inbox is full, you know, it's like 999 for people asking me how to build immunity. But there are different parts of the immune system. So it's not the whole immune system that's letting you down. It's one part of the immune system. So being able to observe what's going on with your physical life really helps you understand which part of the immune system needs tonifying. But just for you know, short answer, argument's sake, microbiome, gut bacteria.
Gotcha.
Gut health.
5 pounds, right? 5 pounds of microbiome in the intestine.
Gut health is the number. Totally.
And I mean, I always, anytime I have anything where I'm like, okay, I need to boost my immune system, obviously my Heli, but chrysanthemum tea.
Of course. Yep.
Yes. And all the mushroom tinctures. Yes. Actually, I'll put your links to the mushroom tinctures too. Like,
yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. You want to actually touch on that a little bit, the mushrooms?
Yeah. So, I mean, nature has many potent things, doesn't it? And it's almost too much to really know how to use. But the one thing that really doesn't ever let you down is fungi, because the whole world is created from it. It's creation itself, and it takes back and it gives, you know. And medicinal kind of mushrooms, if you'd say, are really, the power of them is really quite amazing, you know, especially for creating long-term immunity, supporting illness, you know, dis-ease within the body, or just creating a really nice kind of holistic environment for yourself for growth. So I always have medicinal mushrooms in my diet, not the shrooms, people. There's no psychedelics.
I know, I was about to say, I'm like, come on.
All right. We're not talking about those. Not today.
Not today.
However,
no.
However, yeah, medicinal mushrooms are really quite amazing. If you're like, oh my God, there's so much I don't know, like chaga or reishi is a really great thing to start with. Reishi is really great for supporting the nervous system, and bringing on a sense. I take reishi at night before I go to bed. And chaga is really, really awesome for cultivating immunity. So there's many different things and kind of helping hands from nature, but medicinal mushrooms is one of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I always go to lion's mane for mental clarity.
Yeah. Lion's mane is
I love
amazing.
it.
It's a nootropic. Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah. I love my mushroom tinctures. I mean, I've actually gotten to the point, I'm so proud of myself. I've actually heard a quote where it says, like you've really accomplished self-mastery when you can control, your nourishment, like bringing it into your body, because I will eat whatever it doesn't matter about the flavor. If I know that it's good for me and I know that it's good for my life force energy, then I'm just like, I'll literally put the tinctures right on my tongue. I'm like, it tastes
exactly.
like, like gas,
Yeah.
like, like oil.
Knowing
I don't
what
care.
you need at what time, right? Knowing what you need at what time as well.
Yes.
It's not always about having a cupboard full of supplements.
Right.
It's about being really that in tune with your internal environment. That instead of sitting in symptom, it could be lethargy, or that's another thing about the human condition, right? We just accept things because we've a lot of the time been taught that it's normal to not be in your highest and greatest beautiful self at all times. And that's part of tantra as well. Tantra is the ebbs and flows. However, when you're having a real big ebb, it's really useful and helpful to be able to support whatever's happening there.
Yeah. And in addition to these amazing programs, Elysium and the membership and everything, and she also has a Facebook group called Wellness is Evolving. But you are writing a book. We are going to be able to go purchase something and have it in our home and just be able to go to it and be like, oh, I need help with energy. I need help with anxiety. How do I step into manifestation? How do I step into getting rid of this frustration that is within me? Like, it's going to be, I can't speak to what it is going to be. That's kind of like my little guesses of what might be in there, because you can't even imagine what's going to be coming from this.
It's a secret. But
it's a secret. No. I'm not asking you to tell me. I'm just announcing that there is a book coming, you guys. There is a book coming. There's probably going to be a TV show coming and a movie. I think there should be a movie coming.
It is a secret, and it's not going to be your average boring wellness book. I tell you that right now.
Yes.
It's going to be a Bible of self-mastery hacks, basically. It's pretty awesome. I'm excited.
I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm actually, before that one, that's the big big thing. But there is an ebook on the way that comes in 2 parts. It's Alchemy, baby. It's called, actually. And the first edition is the body, and that is self-mastery hacks.
Oh, I can't wait. And then we actually co-authored on a book, Decoding the Wellness Mantra.
Yes,
it was a book
it was
and
awesome.
the journal.
That book is amazing.
Oh, it's amazing. Yes. Everybody, I'll put the link for that too down below. I'm like, okay, put the link for this, put the link for that.
You're going to have a library of links.
Oh, yes. Right. That's the thing. When you step into really like recognizing who you are, knowing your true authentic self, stepping into being able to manifest things in your life, you really step into your unlimited potential. So us writing books and having podcasts and having these companies and doing this, and then on top of that, changing the world, raising children, doing like that is the norm once you step into this power. Just remember it's who you are.
Yeah, it totally is. You are possible, I think, is something that people really deserve to connect with. Like, you are totally possible, and you get to have it all. And all means kind of holistically. So like we said, it's like the tantra of life. It's the yin and yang, the primordial yin and yang. But it's really being comfortable in the presence of both of those things of your life, and still feeling possible, and still feeling kind of the magnitude of your creation, regardless of which side of the tide you're in,
Yes. That's the thing, is like, I can have so many things on my brain, but then I'm actually able to just disconnect and play with my girls for 10 minutes and then go back to what I need to do, right? Because I'm able to appreciate the preciousness of the moment right now, because I've worked on my mental element. There's just like, there's so many different aspects of this work that nobody could even understand, even comprehend, until they get in, until they put their foot in the water, until they decide to dive in. I mean, I'm literally like in my scuba gear down here. Like,
so vast, creation is so vast, and we are literal portals of divinity.
Yes.
We are portals of divinity. Every cell, I wrote something about that the other day. Every cell is an ode to creation. Every cell goes through kind of a supernova effect of when it dies off, it creates 2 new daughter cells. You're in a continuous cycle of creation, which really shows you are a walking ecology of creation. Every moment, every breath is possibility. And I really, really just want people to be inspired by their existence now, right now, in this moment, and not kind of endlessly seeking to experience something that they don't believe that they are.
Yep. And that's the thing, is when people feel an intuitive pull to something, if you are feeling a pull to diving into this work that Michelle Patrick is doing in the world, you are feeling that pull because you are meant for it. It is actually your future self. It's your higher self.
Yeah.
Kind of like Joe Dispenza did a whole thing about this, actually sending vibrations and frequencies back to you to align you on your path to bring you to who you're supposed to be.
Right.
It is
an
so
act.
powerful.
It's the acting, right? It's use the frequency of the kidneys, explore the bravery and
speak about your frequency programs. Like, I haven't dived into what the Heli is a quantum frequency energy healing device that balances and strengthens your own bioenergetic field, in turn enhancing your own self-healing, self-mastery capabilities. But like, there's so much we can say about that. But Michelle has created, go ahead.
I have. I've got custom Heli frequencies. They're amazing. I've got 5 element frequencies, which really the 5 element frequencies, there's all 5 of them. There's fire, earth, metal, water, wood. They really focus on the organ integrity, and then the emotional counterparts, because we get emotional pathologies arising from organs when they are not in great shape. So that kind of creates a homeostatic equilibrium between the organ system and the response from the nervous system for that particular element. And also I have 5 spirit frequencies, which really kind of hones in on the consciousness, the ideals of Elysium that we were talking about, the way that consciousness unveils itself in the psycho-spiritual attributes of that particular organ.
Amazing. Trust me, I love that frequency set. It is just absolutely incredible. Yeah. Like, I'll be frustrated at my kids, and I'll be like, all right, wood element. I mean, in addition to doing my own clearing work, Michelle, don't worry, I'm doing my clears. Like, you're like, Nicole, I got to talk to you. That's the face. Here we go. I got
it. I'm like, yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it has been such a pleasure to have you on.
Oh, thank you so much. What an amazing thing you're doing. Congratulations. And this whole platform is amazing, and it's just an inspiring thing to be part of. So thank you for
goodness, of course. And I mean, so this is the thing, like, here is Michelle, this amazing world of knowledge, but like, you were a dancer. Like, there's so much about you that people don't know. So I really encourage you to follow Michelle, to go. The link, I put the link. Shoot, I had it over here. 1 second. I will follow her at the Earth Oracle on Instagram.
Yeah.
Go to her Facebook group, Wellness is Evolving. I will put the links for all the programs, Elysium, the Masterclass, which is going to be a transmutation journey.
And it's only $11, the Masterclass.
I know, it's ridiculous. When I first saw that, I was like, wait, is that 1,111? Like, is that supposed to be 1,111? What? $11? But that's because you have such a passion of really bringing everybody.
Oh, totally. And I believe that, sometimes wellness can be overwhelming for people. It can be totally overwhelming for people, and they feel like investing in themselves is a lot to ask for, so really just kind of inviting people into the pool and, letting them enjoy the environment is really what I'm about, because I do believe in the human capacity for greatness. So.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much for your time. It is one of the most precious commodities. I love you to pieces. You are just amazing. I know I'm melting your metal right now. You're like, Nicole, stop. Stop. But like, there aren't enough words that I can say about your amazingness. You are the reason that I am the badass I am today. You and Leah are the reason.
So I will own that. Thank you.
Yes.
But you must own that I merely handed you the key to one of the locks of yourself. It wasn't me. It was you.
Aw, I love you. Thank you so much.
I
And
love
thank
you.
you everybody for joining us. Whoever's here live, whoever's on the replay, like
Yeah.
if you have any questions, reach out to us. We are so grateful to be here and just that's all we can say, right? Like we're so grateful. And join me so March 1st, next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday will be the weekly Friday shows for Sparkle Self Mastery with Nicole. And I will be interviewing our amazing Nick Smith and Ryan Morris. And I cannot wait. And it's not an interview. It's going to be an amazing party, but like, we are going to hear their story. How did they meet? We're going to really dive in and really, really get to know these amazing, amazing, amazing creators of Tribe of Giants, Wake Up with Giants TV.
Oh, exciting.
It's going to be amazing. So yes, thank you everybody. Sparkle, spread positivity, abundance, respect, kindness, love everywhere. We love you so much. And thank you again, Michelle. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys.